Hi everybody, and thank you for joining me today. So, continuing to work on the garden wall. I'm thinking we're going to reach the far right-hand edge of the first pass by the end of the summer. So, possibly during this month, but that might be a bit ambitious. Because that's, like, 90 or 9 columns, so yeah, 90 columns. Well, not, I was saying 9 columns of these big squares, so 90, of the actual stitches to reach that far. So we'll see, because yeah, I'm also working down, I usually worked in rows of 60 high, but I've been working, this pass is 70, so that also makes it take a little bit longer. So we will see what happens. But yeah, ready to get started here. So I'm really hoping that this YouTube, oh dear, I hate when that happens, shredding my floss there. Yeah, I'm really hoping YouTube will give me my automatic captions, because my last video, I don't know, maybe I spoke too quietly, but yeah, automatic captions never showed up, so I have to do them entirely myself, and that takes way longer. Usually within 24 hours or so of uploading a video, YouTube has automatic captions, and they're about 75% correct. So then I just go in and fix any mistakes there. But the base is there for me to work from. But yeah, unfortunately, when they don't have automatic captions, then I have to type the entire thing myself, and yeah, that's a slow and painstaking process that takes almost 4 times longer than, yeah, so yeah, I find just sort of randomly every now and then I will upload a video that the automatic captions never show up on, and often they're not any different for sound quality, so I don't know why sometimes they randomly just do not work. But yeah, and I looked into automatic captioning programs online, but they're rather prohibitively expensive. Like, they have free versions, but they're only good for about 10 minutes of video, and my videos are way longer than 10 minutes, so yeah. And then yeah, they want you to pay like, $50 a month to use it. It's like, no. I'll just do the work myself. But yeah, if you ever find a mistake in one of my captions, let me know and I'll fix it. I try my best to keep them accurate, because I know how much I hate inaccurate captions. Yeah, I can hear just fine, but I have auditory processing issues, so having captions on really helps me to not miss anything that has been said in a video. Yeah, I say it's, I can hear it. Like, people will say, why do you need captions on? I'll just turn it up louder. It's like, no, it's not the volume that's the problem. It's my processing that's the problem. I said, how if you say a word too many times and it stops meaning anything? It's like that, but all the words at the same time. I can hear that you're speaking, but it's just gibberish for a minute in my brain till I can sort it out. And often that means, I'm lagging behind. If I'm watching, say, a movie, it'll take a couple, a minute or so for it to hit. Well, at that point, they've already spoken, 6 more sentences, and I'm completely lost. So yeah, I default with captions on. My husband doesn't like them, which means he has to put up with a lot of rewinding or me saying, what did he say, and pausing it. And so every now and then he didn't catch it either. Then I have to rewind it, switch the captions on, find out what they said. And I'm like, well, if you'd let us watch with the captions on all the time, I wouldn't have to interrupt it like this, right? So yeah, I found I think it's gotten worse the older I get too. as with, you know, many things. So yeah, I got in to see the ear, nose, throat specialist, actually much quicker than I expected. And yeah, he spent all of 5 minutes sort of looking in my ears and in my nose and my throat. And then he said, okay, well, first off, we need to send you for a hearing test. So we have, you know, we can see what's going on. Because he asked, can I still hear? I said, yeah, I can hear out of it, but it's just buzzing and humming all the time. And he said, well, we want a baseline, you know, see what's going on. So yeah, he sent me to the audiologist in town. I call them up to make an appointment, and they can't get me in until late August. So ugh, yeah, unfortunately. So I'm on the list, and if somebody cancels earlier than that, I will go right in. Yeah, I told him definitely give me a call because I'll jump on it. But yeah, if nobody cancels, then I guess I'm stuck waiting for a while. So blech. Yeah. And the buzzing is not quite as loud as it was, but it is still always there. It's actually kind of nice on days when it's really hot, like today, and I have the air conditioner running, and that kind of drowns it out a bit. Yeah, but I only run the air conditioner when it's going to be really hot. I try to save on the energy when I can. But yeah, today's supposed to be a scorcher, so today and the next couple of days, so I have it running. And then at night, I use the sleep phones, the ones that are like the flat headphones that are in a headband that go around your head so that you can lie on your side and it doesn't hurt, right? Because if you try to use earbuds, it jams it in your ear canal, and that's painful and also not good. You know, they said you can give yourself a blockage that way quite easily. So yeah, so I use the sleep phones and brown noise so that way I can sleep. Not as great as, you know, I would if my ear wasn't buzzing, but at least I can get some sleep. So but yeah, I said, boy, I miss silence. Oh man, because yeah, with this ear buzzing away, there's no silence for me. Oh yeah, really sucks. But yeah, they're pretty sure I got fluid in my middle ear. After I got the ear infection, that wouldn't clear up, so I am probably going to need an ear tube. But of course, before they, you know, resort to a surgical procedure, yeah, I have to run a bajillion tests first, and yeah, they say, you know, the difference between TV and real life, you know, TV doctors, you know, they could run tons of tests on you like the day you come in, trying to find, you know, what the issue is. And yeah, in real life you gotta wait months, weeks, or even months sometimes to get your tests. So yeah. So yeah, I had a day last week for a few minutes where the buzzing stopped, and I thought, oh, is it gone? Is it done? But it came back. I was like, oh, darn it. Oh. Yeah. I can tune it out, but that does take a fair bit of mental energy, unfortunately, so. Tired these days. Yeah, it doesn't help. We're still dealing with wildfire smoke, too. Yeah, woke up the other day with a sore throat and a headache and thought, oh shoot, am I getting sick? And then, looked outside and I was like, oh no, it's just the air quality is terrible today. Yeah, I read on the news that the smoke from the Canadian wildfires has now reached Europe, which is just wild and horrifying. Yeah, they say it's definitely the worst wildfire season on record, and I mean, we're still in the beginning of it, really. So, ugh. Yeah, not good, unfortunately. yeah, so my kiddo has put out a bunch of resumes and applications to places in town, so he's hoping to get a call for some summer work. We shall see. I said it's not critical that he gets a job, but not yet, you know, he's still a high school student, so but it would be nice. Get him some experience, and yeah, he wants to buy himself a new computer. He's got about half of the amount he needs saved up from his weekly allowance, so yeah. Yeah, and then I'll have to actually go and get him a proper bank account. I haven't bothered before now because, you know, the bank charges you like $10 a month in fees and gives you a few cents in interest, so just hasn't been worth it until, you know, if he's actually getting a direct deposit paycheck, then it's worth it, but otherwise, yeah. Yeah, when I was a kid and had my first bank account, they didn't charge us any service fees until, I'm trying to think if it was a certain age or we got so many transactions before there was a fee. I think we got $25 a month, which, you know, I rarely used it. I had a debit card, but I didn't use it that much, so yeah, it was kind of nice. Yeah, I guess they got rid of that. Or I remember my parents, their bank was if you kept over a certain balance, you didn't have to pay any transaction fees, but I don't know, they don't seem to do that anymore. I guess they got greedy. Let's see if I can, there we go. Yeah, we'll see how much we get done this month, because last month there was a fair amount of larger blocks of color with the sky and the yellow part of the wall. Now this part here is almost all flowers, so yeah, but it's definitely going to slow my progress a bit. Yeah, so I got some work done on my firefly piece, and I have to say, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the 18 count. You know, I've been working on it, on that piece for a while, and looks good, but it is smaller than I like to work on. I don't know, I'm thinking I might, for next time I start a piece, well, not next time, but probably the time after, because, oh, pardon me, my next time I'm working on Deer Creek, and I already have the fabric for that. That's the, I'm going to reuse the fabric that I started this one on the first time, and I used the wrong color, so yeah, since the Deer Creek is a smaller pattern, I'm going to use the fabric for that and just cut off the part that I messed up. But after that, I might invest in some 16 count Aida. I found at Wool Warehouse they have, you can buy it by the meter, and they have 16 count, the easy count fabric, so I may do that, but it's going to be a while till I get there, because yeah, I still have over a year of work on this project, and then probably a year and a bit on the Deer Creek, because that one is 200,000 stitches, so yeah. I do about 15,000 stitches a month, so yeah, depending. So we'll see. I got a while to decide, but like I said, I still have quite a lot of 14 count left, so I may just keep using that. I'll decide when I get there, but yeah, we'll see if 18 count grows on me, but I don't think I'm going to be using that for any more projects, not at the moment. So, Yeah, I'm really amazed by people who use the really high counts. Oh, there was a lady in, I think it was a Pattern Keeper Facebook group, who was using it for petty point, and she said the fabric was 72 count, which I didn't even know that was possible. It's just like, wow. Yeah, I can't even imagine working on fabric that tiny. So she was using like just 10 stitches single strand, because that's all you would be able to on a fabric that small. Yeah, I didn't know they made even weaves that went that high. You know, and here I am on my ginormous 14 count. Although there is one member in the Heaven and Earth Designs group on Facebook. He does his on 11 count, because that's what's available in his country. So yeah, his pieces are even more massive than mine, and he stitches them holding them in hand, no hoop or frame or anything. So yeah, it's pretty impressive. But yeah, so I have people who will, you know, ask if they're able to do something on a different count, because Heaven and Earth Designs, their floss amounts and stuff is for 25 count. And yeah, always have to reassure the newbies that, yeah, you can use whatever count you want, just make sure your fabric is big enough and that you have enough embroidery floss. But yeah, Heaven and Earth Designs recommends 2 strands full cross on 25 count, but that seems like it would be very thick to me, very tight. I'm finding even 2 strands on 18 count is tight enough for me. I wouldn't want to go sort of any smaller than that. So, but I mean, to each their own. Yeah, I know some people, they want to make sure that not any of the fabric shows through at all. Like, they want it completely covered, and I don't mind if a little bit shows through. Yeah, doesn't bother me. You know, I always tell people, of course, when you're up close too, is you're more critical of it. People aren't going to be looking at it super close generally. So yeah, because I was working on Firefly the other day, and I got to the Serenity symbol, and there were so many colors, it was really sort of hard to see what the detail was till I backed up, and it was, oh, the beginning of the Chinese character on the symbol. Yeah, up close it was just a jumble. Yeah, I wasn't able to get quite as much done as I wanted to. My goal for that was a 1% per month, and I got a little less than that because I started at 8.88% and I got to 9.55, so not quite. But, progress is progress, even if it's slow, right? Okay, I am going to go back over to the left a bit, fill in, as you can see this is not perfectly diagonal. I've got kind of a straight line here. It just sort of worked out that way. Yeah, I sort of didn't think about, with my Firefly, sort of how dark the whole piece is. I mean, obviously you can tell looking at it, but yeah, I kind of didn't consider that I'd be working with dark colors all the time. So yeah, I'm glad I'm not working on that one all the time, because I kind of find it a little depressing to work with so many dark colors. I didn't expect that, but yeah, so it's nice to take a break and do something really brightly colored like this. this pattern. Yeah, I've seen some where people do, they're all in black and white or beige. Like really popular one was a Middle Earth map, which is no longer available, unfortunately, but it's, you know, all beiges and browns pretty much. And I'm just like, it looks amazing, but yeah, I'm not sure I could work with that many beiges and constantly. Yeah, unfortunately, Heaven and Earth Designs has to retire patterns fairly often, so not their fault a lot of times. It's just if the artist no longer wishes to have their pattern, you know, their picture available as a cross-stitch pattern, there's nothing that they can do. So the artist has that right to pull their work whenever they want. So yeah, sometimes there's a warning and they do try to give you a warning, but sometimes they don't have a choice. So yeah, which is probably why so many of us have so many patterns that we'll never have time to make, because, well, what if they take it down? And then they have a sale, you know, like 3 times a year, so there's that too. It gets too tempting. Okay, 38, 36. Yeah, it's, they said, supposed to be a scorcher, and it's raining, so it's very humid, so yuck. Okay, not gonna leave that threaded because it's probably gonna be some time before I get back to it. 208. Oh. Yeah, unfortunately, that rain, there's a fair bit of pollen in the air, so I apologize in advance for if I sneeze. That's why. Gotta watch my grid line there. Near the edges, they can get kind of wonky, so to make sure they don't confuse me rather than guide me. So, yeah, my monthly goal on this main piece is usually 5% per month. So that would be 15.5%. So we'll see how we do. Oh dear. There. Okay. So yeah, if you hear background noise, that's kiddo. I did finally remember to oil those hinges. Were annoying the heck out of me. Yeah, we do have some bigger blocks of color coming up. Probably not in today's session, but yeah, like I say, it's mostly flowers, but there is some areas that it's just the walls, so yeah, we'll see. It's kind of a mix. Oh dear, come on. There we go. A lot of pin stitches in this area, so yeah, the ends can pop up a bit. Gotta make them go back to the other side. Caught on my finger, flinging it around there. found I'm still stitching diagonal, but I've been sort of more focusing with growing out sort of to the right, sort of by rows rather than as diagonal as I used to be. I find that means less unthreading and rethreading. Yeah. And I don't have as many live needles generally, so there's less tangles, so yeah, on the whole it just kind of goes a little quicker that way. So yeah, it wasn't sort of a conscious plan I made, it just sort of kind of started to happen. So sometimes I still stick with my traditional going downwards instead of out to the right. It just, yeah, a lot of it depends on the design itself and how the colors go. Okay, 60. Okay, let's do a bunch in a row here. Cover up all these pin stitches too. Yeah, so there's been a whole big kerfuffle in the Star Trek world. The Paramount Plus is removing Prodigy from their streaming service. They haven't even released season 2. They're still in post-production for that, and now they're pulling it, which, yeah, a lot of people are not happy with. And they said, like, kind of now they can't use their tagline that all of Star Trek is in one place because they're shopping it to other networks. It's just, yeah, it's wild. There's a tax break apparently, but yeah. It wasn't my favorite series. You know, I was watching it because my husband was really enjoying it and to see if it would grow on me. But, I mean, I know a lot of people are really disappointed because it was a good intro for kids. Because unlike Lower Decks, which has a lot of adult humor, yeah, Prodigy was very kid-friendly, so. Yeah, so there's a big petition right now to try and save the show, and Anson Mount has also taken up the cause with it. He plays Captain Pike in Strange New Worlds, so yeah. Which, that show I'm really enjoying. Yeah, like it's weird out there. Like, we have Paramount as part of our, I'd say, I want to say satellite, but actually it's not satellite, it's fiber optic, but we have it as part of our package, but we can't watch the new Yellowstone on it because they decided to put it on streaming only. So yeah, I was kind of annoyed about that, so. Yeah, I said that's one thing that kind of sucks with streaming. They cancel shows a lot faster than they used to. It's really frustrating too, because I said, like, they don't give things a chance. You know, one of the most successful shows of all time was MASH, and it had low ratings the first couple of seasons, but you know, they actually gave it a chance and it became one of the most successful shows ever. I said nowadays it wouldn't even last a month before they would just give up. Yeah. And I think it's sort of harder for them to gain fans because nobody wants to get invested anymore if they're going to cancel something after 1 or 2 seasons. Yeah. Honestly, too, like, a lot of shows now are, you know, 8 to 10 episodes a season, and they're good, but I do miss sometimes the longer season when they had, like, you know, 26 episodes, and people will say, oh, well, they had lots of filler, but often those filler episodes were some of the best. They were character development stuff, and yeah. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm just sounding curmudgeonly, right? Back in my day. But yeah. I mean, there's both. I enjoy miniseries too, but yeah, I wouldn't mind. I find the only stuff with the long, you know, 26 episode seasons are like the procedurals, you know, like NCIS or, yeah, that kind of stuff. Of course, there is also the writer's strike going on right now, so I mean, that is probably affecting a lot of cancellations too, which kind of sucks, but I mean, I understand why they're striking. They do deserve job security and to get paid for their work. They are one of the most valuable parts of a show. If you have lousy writing, it doesn't matter how well it's acted. Yeah, it's not going to be enjoyable, so. Yeah, I hope they come to a resolution soon because it's been going on for over 6 weeks now, so. Yeah, so looking at my pattern here, I'm thinking a natural break point is probably going to be sort of around here. Yeah, because that's sort of where the flowers end and the wall comes back, so we'll see what happens, how I decide to fill this all in. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, because normally here I'm at the edge of the diagonal. I would unthread all these and continue on downwards and then rethread them. So I find sort of this way, cutting it off around here and continuing over to the right, I'm having to do less of that. So that's why it's kind of morphed that way, at least for the moment anyway. We'll see if I slightly change my technique again, which does happen sometimes. I watch Needlebug's channel, and she changes her technique all the time, so yeah. She's sort of where I got started with parking from watching her videos, but yeah, she likes to experiment a lot, so that's fun to watch. Oh dear. Try not to tangle you here. Okay. As you can see, I couldn't get my fabric perfectly flat in the frame, but that's okay. It's taut enough, so all good. Yeah, saying about Prodigy getting canceled, and of course there's always people who, I don't know, want to sound edgy or whatever, saying, well, I'm glad they canceled it or whatever, and I'm just like, you know what? You don't like it, don't watch it. You know? I don't know. I think you sound all cool or something, but it's like, I'm not going to rejoice that a show that some people were really enjoying has been canceled. That just seems mean. Like, no one's forcing you to watch it, so if you don't like it, just don't watch it. Okay. Oh yeah, or it's wild, saying how things are changing. I saw on the news that one of the major soaps, I think it's All My Children, I'm not sure because I don't watch them, they're not my thing, but is moving to streaming only. Yeah, after almost 57 years on the air, it's now, instead of broadcast, it's going to be only streaming, which is just, yeah, huge change. See if it survives or not. But apparently they said, yeah, that over the years it's been declining in numbers because they said, like, apparently I read that there's fewer stay-home parents, you know, because usually, yeah, that was their big audience. And then now, of course, with streaming, people can watch whatever they want, whenever they want it. They don't have to watch something while you broadcast it, so, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's hard to say. Is it a good idea to help them keep with the times, or is this going to be sort of the end of that era? Is that going to be the death knell of that era? Who knows? Because, yeah, I remember reading, they said Blockbuster had the option to buy Netflix, and they passed, and, well, we all know that was a mistake. Because, yeah, no movie rental stores these days, or if they are, they're just little mom and pop shops. Yeah. Yeah, we had one in town for a while, but then the owners decided to retire, and they didn't bother selling it because I guess they'd probably have a harder time finding a buyer these days. Yeah. Yeah, things sure have changed a lot just in my lifetime. Like, somebody was talking about, you know, saying, you know, you kids these days have it easy, you know. When I was growing up, if you missed an episode of the show, that was it. You just missed it. Possibly forever, you know, or you had to wait years sometimes to catch it again. And somebody said, well, why didn't you just stream it? It's like, oh, honey, that wasn't a thing, you know. There was none of this pausing live TV. Yeah. It was, okay, hold it till the commercial break, run to the bathroom, and run back before it comes back so you don't miss any. Yeah, I get notices in the mail from a cable company trying to lure us back, and I'm like, there's still cable? Yeah, we haven't had cable in a long time. We've had satellite since 2004? Yeah, and then we switched to the fiber optic in 2019, I believe. Yeah, so... I remember when stations went off air and you had those colored bars and that awful sound. You had to rush to turn the TV off, or the snow channel. Yeah, I think in our fiber optic TV there's like one station that goes off air for like 2 hours, but nobody else does. Yeah. My husband said it might be for licensing issues, because if you're 24 hours a day, then it might cost a bit more, so they go off air at like 2 in the morning, you know, for a couple of hours, so that they don't have to pay that extra, since few people are watching at that time. So okay, so that one I'm definitely unthreading for a while. Oh, did I? What am I doing here? Oh, I think I may have forgotten to actually do this one. Oh, did I park the wrong strand or what? What have I done here? 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, I did 2. Okay, which strand was this then? Oh dear me, what have I done? Oh yeah, look at me, silly me. I was not paying close enough attention there. Okay, fortunately, I did not mess that up too badly. Were you all yelling at me? Yeah. That's what I get when I don't cross-check with my grid lines. I should have seen immediately I was on the wrong side of it there. Oh. Yeah, and these colors are very similar, so mixing myself up there. So let's try this again. That is actually the color. Yeah. My gosh. I told you I haven't been sleeping as well with this ear buzzing thing, so I'm gonna blame it on that. Yeah. Okay, now we're on the right track. Yeah, that's one reason I like to not leave gaps in my work. That means if I make a mistake like that, I catch it really quickly, because when I went to do the stitches that were supposedly next to it, I went, wait a minute, there is a parked thread there that shouldn't be if my stitching was matching my pattern. So yeah, caught that pretty quickly. Yeah, I say cuts down on mistakes. I will never eliminate mistakes entirely, because I am not perfect, that is for sure. Sometimes with these similar colors, I fudge it too. But no, I got it all sorted, so we're good. Yeah, saying of shows being canceled, I was enjoying the new CW show, Gotham Knights, which was Batman's adopted son and his friends. Yeah, and they canceled that, unfortunately, so it was just getting really good. And now we'll never know how it ends, right? Yeah, I don't know whether that was the writer's strike or what, but yeah, you would think they would keep it, because The Flash ended this year, was the final season, so that's gone. I believe Riverdale is ending. I don't watch that one, but I know that's another of their shows, and that's, I believe this season is the final season. They canceled Kung Fu, which we were quite enjoying, unfortunately. I think it went for 3 seasons, maybe 4. I can't remember, I've lost count, but yeah, unfortunately, that one is done. So it seems there's more shows ending than there are starting. So in fact, I'm trying to remember if any of the new shows they tried this year was renewed, because they had Walker Independence, which was like the prequel to the Walker series set in the, you know, Old West, and that got canceled too. So yeah, I find that sci-fi and historical shows tend to get canceled more because I think they cost more to make. So yeah. Yes, I'm trying to think if any of the new shows they put out this year. I don't think so. I think they only renewed a few well-established shows, so yeah, that's a shame. I mean, at least they aired the entire rest of the season even after they canceled it. That's one thing that's ticked me off with NBC a lot, is they'll cancel something after like 2 episodes have aired and they never show the rest of them. You know, they filmed a whole season, but you don't get to see the rest of them because they've just given up on it. So, yeah, that sucks. Okay, so just trying to decide what I want to do. Yeah, I'm going to end up with multiple threads around here, I think. I'm just going to park it there for now. Yes, now carry on with this thread where it actually should be. Yeah, so I think, like I said, I'm gonna go up to this sort of diagonal here, and then I'm gonna come back over and start filling in. So yeah, I have been working diagonally, but kind of in a slightly different way. It's kind of diagonally, but in rows. Hopefully it's not too confusing for you. Alright, leave that threaded for now, but we'll see. Okay. Oh, 03. Whew. Oh dear, pardon me. I did have that color out already. I just switched working trays after working on Firefly, so I forget what colors I have out. Yeah, I went and bought myself another working tray. It's like one for each project. So gotta familiarize myself with yeah, and if they share colors in common, then I have to shift the colors back and forth between the trays depending on what project I'm working on. Okay. Yeah, I was using an old bobbin container, but it doesn't have as many slots. I went and actually bought myself a bead container which has 32 slots instead of, 18. So yeah, because on these patterns there are a lot of colors, so 18 slots was just not cutting it for me, especially because I was using that one for Firefly and that has 150 colors. So yeah, I was swapping colors around a lot. So saves me a little time when I use a tray that has more space on it. I can do more stitching and less sorting of threads. Yeah, I haven't gotten around to washing my Majora's Mask and mounting it. I might try to get it done this summer, but no promises. Yeah, as always, the stitching is my favorite part. Yeah, it's one of the reasons when I knit, I often try to knit things that are in one piece rather than having to sew pieces together later, because I know I'm gonna take forever to do that part. Make sure I'm grabbing the correct thread here. I almost went and grabbed this one, and that is not the correct one. Okay, so this is a bit too short to do all the stitches that are down here, so I'm going to park this over to the right, and I will add a new thread when I get there to do those stitches. Yeah, I don't always work. Sometimes my row kind of gets skinnier before I go back to the left and start working out again. All right, 38, 36. Okay. Okay, 3608. Okay. 4. I think it's a little closer to reach here than all the way to the edge there. Probably not by much, but just tacking it down because it's going to be a while till I get to that color, I think. think, yeah, this is only not enough for this stitch here, and then tie it off. Okay, oops. Oh, meant to say clear, not not check mark. Oops, darn it. Unthreaded it by accident. Yes, kind of coming from this side with this color. It's because it happened to be part on that side, and then grow out from there. There we go. Yeah, as I said, can see that down here we've got some bigger blocks, so that part is going to go, yeah, a bit quicker than all this flowers here. All right, I want to do these colors next because I can tie these threads off. Yeah, be done with them. So yeah, as I said, this is sort of where the wall starts again, providing sort of a natural break point. So I'm going to fill this in, then head over to the left, fill in some more, that kind of thing. So yeah, I don't have hard and fast rules for where I stitch next. Just sort of go where the pattern takes me. Just forgot to switch out my threads ends container. I'm keeping the ends from the firefly separate from the ends from this pattern for the moment anyway. I may end up just chucking them all away, but who knows? We shall see. Nope, nope. Missed the hole and pierced the fabric there. Yeah. And on the lower count, like a 14 count, it's really noticeable. I found on the 18 I can kind of fudge it sometimes and not have to undo it, but yeah. When the stitches are bigger like this, it's much more noticeable, so to make sure to fix it. Come on. There we go. I don't know how that happens sometimes. I must have stitched through it with my needle or something. Yeah. Six of 8. So yeah, where this purple and pink ends is sort of where I'm gonna cut it off, continue filling in from the left outwards before I continue moving more columns to the right. Okay, let me just check the length of this thread. Thinking I'm carrying that one, yes, to the right, which means I have to fill these in first. Well, I don't have to, but that's how I prefer to. Right, yeah, that is a light color. That's what I thought. So I'm going to draw this along the back rather than pin stitching it. Yeah. Do not want to have it show through. Goodness. And again with this one. See, yeah, all of this is pale, so to be careful with my darker and brighter colors. Although this is fairly pale, so I think I can get away with pin stitching this one as long as I ensure that it really disappears into the fabric. Yes, this is a fairly pale pink. Look at this color. Yeah, that's a longer one, so I'm going to carry that to the right. So that means that it's now time to go back towards the left. I'm going to leave those threaded for now because there's not very many of them, so I think I can get away with it. Let's start working my way out from the left again. Yeah, and in fact, not leaving that threaded because it's too short. Do one more stitch and we'll be at a nice even 200, and I think that's where I will take a break. Yeah, there we go. So mark that, I parked it there, so 200 even, perfect. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me today, and hope to see you here again another time. Right, thanks everyone, bye.